Hello and welcome to Gold and Silver Assets. I'm Diora and it's Sunday the 27th of February 2022. Well, what a week it's been. I think the markets don't know whether they're coming or going, aren't they? Up, down, pump, dump. Let's have a closer look at the precious metals. So we'll start with gold priced in US dollars on the daily scale. And we've been talking about this kind of triangular shape here and this trend line that's been broken well and truly, and we had this massive move up here, over $100 basically, and in quite a short time. But of course that didn't last. This is a huge upper wick here which suggests some downward movement is coming, and we did get that on the last day. So where do we go from here? We've already had this pump, and it's almost as if it was a little bit too much too fast for gold there. And so we're cooling off. I think we still need a little bit more cooling off, I'm afraid. So I actually think we're going to come back down, and I think we're probably going to retest this line over here. So I'm thinking something like this before we resume the uptrend here. Remember that if this is the overall pattern, then we've got a target that's much higher here. And so this is just en route. So you are going to get knockbacks on the way. So how low do you think it will go? Well, I'm thinking around the 1850, 1860, that kind of level, somewhere around this region. It doesn't have to touch this line, but look, you know what gold's like. If it's going to dump, it will dump as much as it can, I guess. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking here. And we'll go back to that other chart where I looked at the Oanda chart last week and looking at the volumes here, and that led us to these two prices, and I said that this was going to be a zone of resistance here. And what actually happened, you could see that price kind of went up roughly to that area, and then it smashed right through it and smashed all the way back down through it as well. And even on that last day, on Friday, it kind of went up to it and then came down over here. So that's obviously an important zone there to watch out for. Okay, and we'll just take a quick look at gold priced in the world currency unit. And here we had what kind of looks like an ascending triangle, doesn't it? And we had the breakout, very decisive breakout upwards. And I mean, this went pretty high here. The all-time high is back over here. And similar to the US dollar gold price, it got knocked back. And here I'm thinking we're going to come down to around that 1305 level before bouncing up, because you can see we've got a reasonable amount of support. What's the worst case scenario? Coming down to around this kind of level, close to this trend line. What we don't want to see is a break of that trend line. Silver in US dollars. So this is a very messy line. It's not particularly trustworthy trend line. As you can see it here, it broke through and came back down. But this time it broke through a bit more convincingly. But I think we've still got a bit more downside to go again on this. And I think 23 will be a good kind of support level over here, because of all this kind of price action over here. So roughly, I think we're going to get a dump, maybe just down to this trend line. But remember, it's not hugely reliable, so it could go a little bit lower before taking another step upwards. Okay, US dollar index. So this is on the weekly scale, and we've got these lines which have actually been pretty useful, haven't they? Because I drew these lines before these bars over here. So it was helpful over here and over here as well. So what happened was we had a big surge up there and it bounced back off and down there. So we remain within this zone. As long as we remain within this zone, we're going to just, basically be going sideways. And what we're looking for is a decisive move and close above or below these lines here, and that will give us more of an idea of the direction. And what I've done here is drawn some horizontal kind of resistance lines above and a support line below, and so that kind of gives us the range. I mean, you could even put 92 here as well. That seems a reasonable area. So if we get a solid candle that closes above this, then I think the next target will be about 100. If we get a solid candle that closes below this, then I think we're looking at 92, possibly even 88 there. Again, we can't tell you, this isn't a predictive thing, but this gives you an idea of, you know, what kind of targets to look for and when to look for them. But so far at the moment, we remain sideways here on the US dollar index. And the gold miners, so this is the GDX. And here we had a break above this trend line, but it wasn't sustained. We broke back down below it. So at the moment, we're just on it here. I think, again, as with the precious metals, I think we're going to come down a little bit more, but I think 32 is looking good for support here, pretty strong support here. Or if it doesn't get that far, then probably about the 33. So somewhere around here, I think support will occur. And so I'm thinking we'll come down here and then start moving up. And I think the next break above this line is likely to be a decisive one. And again, a similar story for the silver miners. Again, silver is just very messy, and the same goes with these silver miners here. I've drawn this trend line, but again, it's not perfect. Here you had a break above, and that proved to be completely fake, and price dropped even lower. This one's looking a bit more convincing, isn't it? I think probably we're looking at a drop to about 12 for this one, maybe, before moving up. But hey, that's just a guess here. It's not so easy to work out the kind of support areas, but you can see here that and over here we've got all this price action, so that's kind of what I'm basing that on there. So yeah, I think we've got a little bit of downside to come, maybe in the next week or so, and then another turnaround. I think this next turnaround is going to be quite decisive one way or the other. Right, hope you're all doing okay. That's it from me for this week. All the best and see you next week. Bye.